Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very welcome. Right, including today, there are 38 What's Maps until Christmas, and it means I'm going to have to give some serious consideration to the shortlist for the Map of the Year series. Now, I'm expecting one or two really good maps between now and the end of December, probably from big names that we've heard of and we all know and love. I wasn't expecting this. This map, when I got down to ground level, I realised immediately it was going to be a contender. Now, it does sort of shoot itself in the foot a little bit, but is that something that I'm going to be able to overlook when I go to making my shortlists? I'm sure you'll make your own decisions in the comments and with the voting at the end of today's show. One decision you can make right at the beginning is whether you're going to be playing BonBonBingo today. Link is in the description. Check off the memes as we go. But before we do any of that, a decision I'm going to make for you is this one. That's right, listening to Uncle BonBon. Telling you to click the like button is a really good way of supporting his channel. Thank you very much for your ongoing support. Today's map is Napa Valley by Da Mao. Now, Da Mao is Chinese for big cat, or so Google tells me, and it's probably butchered, but I'm going with Da Mao, and I apologise if I am wrong. I did my best. There's your start square. That looks very inviting. Just enough pre-built infrastructure to get you started. The terrain heights, it's clearly an edited, it's beautiful. It worked for this game. It works really well. We have field painting, which is, some patches are a little bit on the small side, but it's kind of usable. And fishing industry, if you have Sunset Arbor, you have a fishing map that looks like that. Okay, off to the workshop. What do we need? Good question. Well, no DLC, apparently. We've got a list of requirements. It's not the world's longest list. Recommendation for no controller and section marking tool. Also, there's quite a bit of procedural objects. Now, procedural objects isn't listed in the requirements list, so all the procedural objects things will be missing. If we roll down here, you'll see there's a whole bunch of tunnel entrances and lovely bridges. And the important thing today, a long list is fine so long as it's used to good effect. And today's map, it is used to good effect. Very good effect, but again, yes, we will want the procedural object mod for. You won't need to do anything with it, you just need to have it active, and then all the work that's been done on these bridges will pop, and it really does pop. The whole map pops. We're using the solstice theme. We're using the solstice theme and the realistic 1.2 LUT today. Realistic 1.2 LUT as voted by you, and the solstice theme as recommended by Da Mao. And I say it works really well with the map. So what do we have? Well, 3 rivers, valleys, and it's kind of an ideal City Skylines layout. A little bit of encroaching tree on the road. Not too much of that today, just 1 or 2 bits here and there that have snuck in. But it's very clear that the creator has gone out of their way to make sure there are no trees under the road. There are a few exceptions. We're not going to bust a gut on it. There are 1 or 2 other grumbles that we can bust a gut about if we really want to. Our first intersection. Good, clean, crisp, slick, and nice. Heading down there to some tunnels. We're not going that way. No, we're not going. Why would we go that way? We've got a little bit of a bump in the ramp there. I mean, we're talking about minor things. There's a lot of minor things to fix on today's map if you're really interested in fixing minor things. And anyway, you might just go, do you know what? I'm happy. There's going to be plenty of players out there that like a map that, yeah, I'm not after perfection, people, you know. And if you're one of those, then you're going to be very excited by today's map because it is just shy of perfection in a lot of little ways. In a lot of little ways, as Scylla would have said. Who's Scylla? Oh, we've got a little bit of encroaching rocks there. Only Brits will know who Scylla is. Maybe non-Brits, but Scylla. Miss you, Scylla. Anyway, what have we got? We got a next intersection here. We've got a little bit of a clipping through of the prop there. And there's lots of little things like that on today's map. But not too many that it becomes a nightmare. Okay, that's important to note. Very, very important to note. We're heading up towards our next intersection here. There's a lot of things I'm skipping over that we'll have a look at in the second half of the show. So note that I have noticed these things. For example, this 2-lane highway down here, that is a Network Extensions 2 highway. You'll also know, let me just do this, boom, show you, and then down here, there you go, Network Extensions 2. So while I personally don't know, it's recommended you move on from Network Extensions 2 and use alternatives. My game still runs fine with it, and as long as it's listed in the requirements, then slightly encroaching tree there. As long as it's listed in the requirements, then having Network Extensions 2 as a requirement is not a problem for me. Unfortunately, today's map doesn't list it as a requirement, so technically today's map is broken. Technically, not necessarily actually. We've got a tree underneath the by the pillars there, just clipping through the underside of this bridge. Nice bridge work today though. Lovely choices of bridges, layout as well. I'm going to grumble a lot today into the start square now. I'm going to grumble a lot in a way that it makes this map seem like it's a freaking nightmare. And it's just unfortunate because the map as a whole shines more than all the little grumbles that I'm going to throw in here. And hopefully you're going to see this. You're not going to need me to tell you, look how great this looks. Okay. Also, we've got some trees on the dirt tracks over here as well. Not so important on the dirt tracks, but yeah, they're kind of like field boundaries, but I've got to show it. Down to the rail. The rail is good and strong. We do have a few tunnels which are going to dip away, which could have been tapered in. I think there's one or two places where it could have actually been done as a sunken rail line as well. But out here is fine because we're away from the city. You'd expect it to be at ground level. So yes, hopefully you don't need me to tell you what you're seeing is good. I'm pointing out the talking points, the things that could be improved, which hopefully will help Dalmau, who we've not done on the show before. This isn't their first map. I think I picked up on their first map when it came out and went, ooh, we need to do that one. And I'm pretty sure one of their first maps is on the workshop. Here's one of those tunnels that's just dipping away into a hole in the ground that could be tapered from further. And here, this could be sunken right there. There you go. Told you about that bit, didn't I? Anyway, so yes, I'm gonna grumble a lot, and I don't want to. I really don't mean to. It's just that there's lots of things to grumble about. But all told, this map is a strong one. It's an outstanding one, and genuinely, I'm considering this one for the map of the year shortlist. Just don't know yet.
Do you have trouble knowing how to start a new city? Do you need to return to the absolute basics just this once? Don't worry, I won't tell. Then you need BonBonB's Beginner's Guide to Your First City. Click the information button now.
And back to Napa Valley by Dalmau and the shipping routes. Now, the shipping routes go up all of the rivers, and they meander fairly well. Well, there's one or two points where the meandering, I don't know if we're going to be able to really see it. Oh, the bridges are a little bit low, by the way. Just a little bit. For the vanilla shipping. Shipping triangle in the middle looks very slick. There's one or two points where it meanders. It looks like it's... Is it this one here? I'm trying to remember. Also, why is this bridge green in the overlay here? I don't understand why that bridge is green. It's a custom bridge, but I still don't understand why it's green. I'm trying to remember where it is. There's one of these routes that just looks like it's going to run into the... It doesn't run into the riverbank. It just... Is this the one right there, maybe? Anyway, yeah, it could be slightly more polished, but it's still pretty strong. Water flow. You can see we've got strong water flow coming in from the edge of the map here, pushing down towards the start square, which is down here. Let's check for water flow in the start square, shall we? Yeah, we've got decent water coming in from our right hand side, which means hopefully this is downstream over here, but this is also upstream. We've got edge of map water flow pushing in from all three directions, so somewhere along here will be a null spot. Yeah, roughly in this area. just watch out. If you're going to be drawing water from that point, you may end up killing your people. Okay, so just loving the overall shape. I'm loving the overall shape. I'm loving the mountains. I'm loving the fields. I'm loving the rivers, the shapes and stuff. The fields here are going to encourage you to build a non-grid city, whilst you can still go grid-like if you want. And then we come down. And I'm liking these sandy riverbanks as well. I think they've been done quite neatly. Not quite perfectly polished, and we do have quite a few trees here and there, just taking a little paddle. Most of them have their trunks on. And those that don't, you should be looking the other way. Right, let's head on up the river. This bridge here and the vanilla cargo ferry. Now, if you're playing with mods, and this is a map which runs mods, you're probably going to be playing with advanced vehicle options. It's not listed as a requirement, so I have to make note that that is very likely to happen to you without knowledge, because we have to assume that while you play with mods, you may not know how to switch out these vanilla ships. Slightly encroaching rocks on the underside there, and some trees just before as well. But I'm loving the shapes of the bridge. That's a curved bridge, very neatly done. Another custom bridge over here. Oh, the sand doesn't quite reach the river here. I say lots of little grumbles. I don't want to, because this is an amazing map. Okay. Another custom bridge there, very slick custom bridge. We've got more bridges to look at. Let's go and have a look at this bridge. This bridge has a minor problem with is missing a pillar. I don't know why. Is that a missing procedural object or something? I don't know. But it's yeah, just a minor issue there. Then we came over this bridge, so you've already seen it. But again, that is another strong bridge. Good choices with the bridges, good locations for the bridges, and pretty good standards for the bridges as well. Another custom bridge here. One or two minor grumbles. You may notice at this end we're not quite clipping into the ground right, so we've got a little bit of yeah, elevation issue there. But again, the choices are all good, the locations are good, everything looks good. Now let's start looking at the intersection marking tool. Brief look at this one. We've seen these before, the chevrons. They have to be pointing towards the traffic. So when you drive up here, if you're going to take a right, you're going to be hitting these solid bars. You're going to be hitting them. And if you come in this direction, you're going to be hitting those solid bars as well. So you are forced up the road. You're not going to be doing a U-turn. And if we come down the other route, we hit them facing the wrong way. So if you start turning in here, these suddenly encourage you to do a U-turn. And so, yeah, the chevron should be pointing away. Unfortunately, minor grumble again, this is the template for the entire map. All of the intersections across the map do exactly the same thing. They all have the chevrons pointing into this. It's an aesthetic thing. It's a simple mistake to make, and it's something that I was doing myself until you, Watt Mappers, educated me. So thank you very much for that. So yes, Dharma, if you're watching this and if you understand English, then yeah, you're not doing anything too bad. The tree painting could be slightly more finessed, but for what we've got, I'm loving the shapes of the forests. I'm willing to overlook the minor grumbles that I have with the finessing of the trees and the forests. Sirens going past my window. Mountains look amazing. These are clearly done in some sort of image editor to bring the height map across. It looks stunning. What we could do though is just smooth out. We can just see the pixelization from the original height maps. In some places it actually works to create a sort of like a rougher mountain edge, but in the smoother areas you can still very clearly see the original height map. So there's a little bit of smoothing that can be done, but all told, I think they really work for the map. Yeah, drowned trees. We've seen the drowned trees. I'm showing you some more drowned trees just because I had this one logged in and we're doing the flyby. We do have a minor issue with non-terrain conforming grasses here and there, which won't annoy many of you. But yeah, the shapes, even the shapes of the woods here are. But then I saw this and I thought that looks weird. Hang on. Let's go down the ground level. And then yes, we have basically it's like the human caterpillar but with trees. So yes, some finessing is all I'm saying here. Now here we can see we've got this dirt track bridge, right? It's a big gap between the two pillars. So we can fill that gap with a pillar somewhere. There probably is one in the middle. If we go into move it and have a look for a node in the middle, there's probably a pillar under that. Let's check. Let's move the highway. and move the highway, and no pillar. So they've gone out of their way to remove the pillar, which is great. Good to see. We have a removed pillar, but just want to see those pillars moved in a little bit closer to make it slightly more believable. That said, it's good solid work. Okay. Here we have got a similar problem, similar but not the same, and that problem is a pillar that hasn't been removed. Haven't seen one of those for a while. It's an easy thing to overlook, but anyway, I'd move it across just a little bit, maybe just to underneath there to give a bit of support to that overpass. We've got there's a lot of procedural objects on today's map. These bridges are, in fact, most of the bridges have procedural object work on them. Without procedural objects, you probably have no bridges at all. And then, yeah, there you go. There's some more non-terrain conforming grasses that just hover. So yeah, there's a minor grumble. Just another one to add to the list of minor grumbles. But amazing. I'm loving this layout of this this start square with this like moats running around it. Looks really very nice indeed. Right, while we're in the start square, I guess we should take a little look at this. This is a contender 2. And I would say this is a contender for the successor to the frankly amazing Lost Gecko and their French rural buildings, cbudd. French Classic Houses 2 is the asset, and cbudd has done a stunning job with it, especially the one on this end. I mean, the other one's amazing, but this one, wow. Factoids, because Factoids. Right, we're in Napa Valley, yep. So Napa County is north of San Francisco in California. It's known for hundreds and hundreds of hillside vineyards in the Napa Valley wine region. In the city of Napa, Oxbow Public Market features regional gourmet food, and the Napa Valley Wine Train is a vintage locomotive and travelling restaurant running through the valley. Absolutely sounds amazing. Doesn't sound cheap. It doesn't sound cheap, but it sounds amazing. It's wine on the train. Who would want my wine? Mine? Uncork it. Fill it up for me. Anyway, French Classic Houses 2 by cbudd. These also, it's kind of like a winey kind of thing, isn't it? I think. France, wine. Snails, frog's legs. Listen, don't knock snails. I've never had frog's legs, but don't knock. I've tried snails. Lovely. Little bit of, this is start square as well. A little bit of sand terrain glitching here that can be smoothed out a little bit. Because obviously the rocks are buildings and they have that footprint. But still, again, minor grumbles. It's all about minor grumbles. How much are you going to minor grumble, though? That is the question. Let me know in the comments. So before that, though, head on over to the voting page. Link is in the description and top right corner of your screen now. And let me know, is this a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month with the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. You get to vote for free with a Facebook, Gmail, Apple or a Patreon account. Go ahead, make my day. But what do I think of today's map? Well, aesthetically, I think it does exceptionally well. Even with all the little minor grumbles and grimbles across the map, it stands up beautifully. I can't give it 5 stars because there are too many minor grumbles, but I can go at the very top end of 4. I think this is a winner. Detailing on the whole across the map, it's very strong, but there are a lot of issues. Now, are those issues enough to knock it down to 3 stars? On another day, possibly, but I think we're starting from a standard which is high enough to force me to give this a 4th star. So, 4 stars, but I'll go at the bottom end. Gameplay potential, I was going to go for a very high 4 stars, not 5 stars because there was a lot to fix. But can't go for a high 4 when you've got network extensions 2 as a requirement and not listed. So technically the map is broken. I've got to give it 1 star. Napa Valley by Da Mao. Now, I'm going to give it the BonBonB seal of approval because it is an outstanding map. Just make sure you've got network extensions 2. And if network extensions 2 is broken for you, you might want to do a little switchy-roo and making it all work. And you've seen the tutorial. Got the tutorial. to switch out network essentials to. I love that map. Okay? Do you agree? Am I correct or am I wrong? Let me know in the comments. And if you're here, still you're part of the 20 and out elites, use the word of the day in the comments for some population points just for fun. And I will be back tomorrow with another map in the What's Map series and hopefully be another good one. Hopefully.